Hello there, commanders, and welcome to another episode of Total War Arena Battle Commentary. This time around we have Capitoline Hill, woohoo, something new. And we are also not featuring Kenana Archers, we are featuring Scipio Cavalry on tier 5 Celebres. As the first cavalry in the Roman tech tree, and in this battle I would like to focus on how to min-max your ability to control the map. And many other things on how to do it. Especially when here we are in a not very good matchmaking. Obviously, at the start of the battle we don't know that, right? But we went as a party of 5 and 6 tiers, and as you can see here on this flank we are facing tier 7s, tier 6, and we are supported by some guy who took one tier 6 unit and two tier 5 units, okay. You do you, buddy. That's what the diversity bonus does to you. It makes you take wrong units, apparently. I don't know. Or maybe he changed only one and then realized that he needs to change all three. Either way, we see a lot of their cavalry going up here. They cannot capture C for the next 2 minutes, so they might either go straight to the base, which they also cannot capture. They can go around to take B, but they also wouldn't be able to capture B if we cap E. So that is what we are aiming here. We already have 6 infantry units on top of E, capturing it very quickly. So here, what ideally you would like to do is have the infantry player engage the infantry player, right? I'm scouting here just to make sure nobody is in here. You know, I'm waiting for this guy to engage because I can recharge him, I can route all 3 units here if this guy cooperates. But he refuses because like, oh no, he's 1 tier higher or 2 tier higher. 2 tiers higher, so obviously I cannot deal with him. Well, luckily our enemy also isn't very bright and doesn't turn around for my charge, and finally this guy wakes up. I know, stakes, very scary. Well, he does suffer quite a lot of casualties because stakes are still OP. And well, here comes the cavalry that will try to probably capture B or whatever, but realize it is too late because we already got E. And here I think my allies made the wrong decision. Hi Hazu, hi Pardenum, and Brainfire, I guess. They are charging straight to the enemy base. Usually, going for a base capture so early in the game is not a very good idea, and this particular instance is not going to be any different. It is also a bad idea in here. What I think we should have done is, first of all, we have a healing zone right here. The closest healing zone for the enemy is...
The enemy base is under attack.
They have only this one. This is literally the only place they are controlling in the map right now. So if anybody dies, which they did, will respawn here, and that is exactly what's happening. They enter the base and whoops, there are defenders. Who would have thought? Plus there's also the fallback button which teleports you straight to the base just like that, within 5 seconds. So yeah, it's really easy to defend the base, especially very early on. It is a gamble, right? They took it because it might work. If it works, you win the game immediately. But it is very unlikely it will work. And yeah, they're already 3 players spawned back in and they have to retreat. And this flank also got obliterated. But what I do, since I am Scipio Cavalry, that is kind of unique to Scipio Cavalry, I have Oath of Perseverance. Which means, even if I'm in such a shitty situation, completely surrounded against spears that directly counter me, I can still hold for a very long time, and I buy my team a lot of time. Enough time for this guy to respawn in here, which he also died in this very engagement together with me just 30 seconds earlier, apparently. So I did buy all the time for my allies. Now I'm dead, so I also need to respawn somewhere. I don't think we will be able to hold this point for 30 seconds. Brainfire charges in the very last second. It was about to be flipped, so he holds that healing zone. But luckily our team also captures D in the meantime. Since, well, maybe the enemy team was drawn back to defend their base, but no, actually not really, because it's still the very same 3 defenders. And now Hazen Pardenum are retreating towards E, but it is at the moment kind of a lost cause since I already died here. Rainfire died as well, and well, this guy alone is not enough. He also tried to get in, and he kind of got in if you look at this, right? Like most of his unit is within the circle, but it didn't prevent the capture. That's that has something to do with where the center of the unit is detected, and somehow it wasn't detected within the circle but somewhere outside, and that's why E got captured. So that's again coherency of the unit and how the center is detected and how the flanks are detected, all those connected stuff. That needs to be fixed, CA. Come on, just do it. So yeah, Pardonom and Hazard are now also going to die in here because, well, they're outnumbered. I spawn in here at D, and I see the enemy capturing C, so I try to react to that, but I was too late. Didn't respawn in time, but I still find 3 unprotected archers. I mean, they are kind of protected, but this guy doesn't seem to pay attention to his friendly archers, and well, 3 points for us, right? We get more XP, the guy is dead, and this guy is achieving absolutely nothing at the moment. Protect your archers. So we still need to wait 40 seconds until C is open. So killing archers is a great, well, not pastime, but something to do to kill the time, right? Well, instead of just standing on top of C like this guy for some reason. He's giving me XP. He feels bad. He's already level 1 on 2 of his units. I'm level 0 on all of my units. So he's nice enough for me to allow me to level up as well, and that's what he does, and then he charges me. I was like, hey buddy, you know, I could have charged, but I didn't, so he's marking that. Hey, Haz and Pardonom are actually doing pretty well in here. There's also 2v1 on top of E, because all their forces went somewhere else. Maybe trying to recap D. Yeah, they do look... it looks more or less even here. And just look at the points, right? Just because we are keeping constant pressure, they got C. Well, they got lucky, and they managed to hold it. So you know the 90 seconds is there. But yeah, it's 1300 versus 300 points. And here's another trick that you guys as cavalry should know. When you're capping a point and there's enemy force of cavalry or anything else approaching, use one of your units to stop them, and then keep capping with the 2 of them, because if I charged up with all of them, the capture would have disappeared, because I was the only one capping. If I decide to stay and allow the enemy to get in, he interrupts the capture. So that is the correct thing to do. Send out 1 unit, block them until it's captured, and then you secure a healing zone, which is very important. Because if you're in the control of the healing zone, that gives you huge advantage when fighting the area. Speaking of which, yeah, RD is getting lost. We can't hold all 5 points. But hey, it's looking really good. 5 points per second for us, 4.5 now, but still 0 for the enemy. Still holding on to E. And yeah, here I'm getting chased after chasing the cavalry a little bit too much, so my mistake. Sacrifice 1 unit, but this unit doesn't have off perseverance. These 2 do. And now I kind of have a decision, either go and help here and maybe we get E, but it looks like we are just about to die here, so I decide instead to try to prevent these guys from coming in and reinforcing. And the plan here was to, as you can see, I kind of wait for it at the beginning, to charge in, right, create a small gap in here in this area. As you can see, there are no enemies here, and just pull out. But sadly, due to pathfinding and just my units getting absolutely entangled and refusing to run away properly, well, that just didn't work out. Even though I kind of have a clear path to just run away here, somehow it just that didn't work in this particular scenario. So I guess CA, please fix pathfinding, or Mr. please get good. They're already capping C, but well, I have no idea what there is. Might be a Roman infantry, and if I get too close, I get pillaged and this unit dies. So I do not risk that, because my plan right now is to heal up here, because this capture is going very slow, so it's probably only 1 unit. So I get here, heal up, and the plan is to have these 2 units die. So as you can see, I am pulling through to maximize the damage the enemy will deal, because I want to die faster, because this unit is going to heal in 4 seconds, and if these units die before that, then I would have brought them back immediately. But that doesn't happen. They die slightly too late, so I have to wait additional 10 seconds to bring them back. But it's still pretty good. Luckily we have allies, and they also just got there in the very last second to prevent the C being decapped and the healing zone from disappearing. But I think I would have made it in time anyway. And we'll see, all like very last second, so it was kind of exciting. So yeah, now I decide to go fight for the control of E. We see they have 2 units in there, and probably the reinforcements that I was throwing in here coming into E as well. But Bardenov has respawned. Hazu is all the way back in the base for some reason. I don't know, maybe he recalled or whatever. No idea. But yeah, they locked E for 90 seconds. And as I approach here, I find myself in a predicament where I didn't want to be. But well, I got to engage Alexander Cav frontally. Lucky he wasn't... Oh, triple anvil. Very nice. Luckily he wasn't in wedge, so the charge was kind of equal. I charged a little bit earlier, so I got the advantage of the charge. And he splits up 2 of his units with the intent of going around and maybe flanking me. So what I need to do right now, because he also wasted his charge, right? So I know he doesn't have a charge. So I'm going after him to prevent him because he wants to charge me in the ass. So I'm going straight after him to not allow him to do that. So he turns around, doesn't have a charge yet, neither do I. Now the charge is off cooldown. I know this cavalry probably has a charge, but I charged earlier, this guy doesn't charge, now he charges. Oh yeah, this guy kind of fucked up the execution of his plan. And well, I did my best, right, to get in his way. And I keep this guy occupied. Ooh, anvil again, that's a short cooldown. But it was a little bit longer. But I have infantry support, although so do they. There's some spears incoming. But if we can get rid of this Alexander Cavalry, which is absolutely trash at fighting in melee, which is what my Roman Cavalry, even though it's tier lower, it's still better at. Yeah, we rout him. One of his units escapes. He does the same thing. 2 units to stall, 1 unit run away and heal back up. And I'll think I try to prevent it, or well, I calculate probably is not good enough. So what I want to do instead is to deny them the healing zone. Because as you can see, that healing zone is a huge advantage. He just lost 2 units. 10 seconds later, well 15 seconds later, he's got all 3 back. So we absolutely need to get rid of that capture point. Luckily nobody is defending it. This cavalry guy should have done it, but he doesn't. He goes for units. So there's always a dilemma, right? Do you go for units? Do you go for the kills, for routing, for XP? Or do you cap the point? In this situation, I believe capping the point is the correct decision, and this is what I do. So I put all 3 of my units on top of E. I even charge straight into the point to get there as quickly as possible. I know that the capture is going to take a while, so the charge will come off cooldown again anyway. And yeah, looks like this guy wanted to heal. Denied. So now he tries to get back into E in time, but we're fast enough, and now we can go for the kills now that we have secured. And all those units that we may have lost here in the meantime don't really matter that much. I mean, those that routed and got shattered, they lose their XP, so that's a loss, right? But then they can all be brought back very quickly. So there's never like a perfect decision that, oh, this decision has all the benefits and this decision has all the wrong ideas, right? It's either go for the kills, hopefully kill them all, don't let them respawn, don't let them heal back up, and then capture the base. Or capture the base first, deny them the healing and respawn zone, and then kill them. And I think this is the more reliable way, so that's what I did. And also, yeah, keep in mind that we are here fighting mostly against higher tier units. We keep facing those tier 6 and 7s while we are tier 6 and 5s ourselves. So I cannot really deal a lot of damage as my tier 5 cavalry, but what I can do is provide my pressure by capping the points, or just delay them by the uniqueness of Scipio Cavalry and of Perseverance. So now with E secured and our force pushing towards the base, Hazard didn't want to heal here because he said he has dribble, so he'll heal back up. But he won't resurrect his models obviously, but all of his models soldiers will be full HP. So I think I saw some people going towards C, so that's why I'm going here to defend this point. And also they don't really need my help here. And yep, I was correct, and we see 2 players coming inside C, so I want to keep this zone for as long as possible. There's 2 players, Dermek and Hannah, healing up here, so I know I'll have some reinforcements soon, so all I need to do is keep the healing zone for my allies, as they did previously for me, so I guess I'm returning the favor. And yeah, usually charging frontally into spears as cavalry is a shit idea, but when it comes to a capture point, it is worth it. Also, I'm Scipio, so I have offer perseverance, so even though I'm in a very, very bad situation in here, I can still survive for long enough and buy time, and then I can always heal. As long as I don't entirely lose the unit, that's all the win I can get and all I need. And also here, you know, I'm just preventing the javelins from ever shooting, because I'm just on top of them all the time, even though I don't get a clear charge because it's all getting blocked by his allied infantry. So this infantry did a good job at defending that ranged player. But because of the uniqueness of Scipio, right, I just get entangled with them into melee, and either the javelins stay in there in melee with me as well, and they die and they can shoot, or they run away. But if they run away, well, they're no longer protected, and I get a clear charge on them like I did here. Obviously, in this scenario, I did have my infantry support, but you can do that not really a trick, that tactic on your own, just 3 units of cavalry against ranged units protected by melee units. I think there were 3 or 4 melee units, right, because Shen has 3 spears, and his King Bobby has double javelins, one sword. So, yeah, you can just do that. Cavalry is kind of OP like that, so I guess sucks to be ranged units. But we can argue they could have been better protected. But as I say, as long as they don't use any units, I don't lose any XP, and at the end of that exchange, of that fight, I just can go back and heal. So that's why controlling all the points, controlling the map. Just look at the score, 3200 versus 1100. We are absolutely smashing it. Obviously the victory is already secured, and we are piling 12 units out of the base because they essentially took control of everything. But well, they snack DNA in the meantime, but this late in battle it is not going to make a difference. So yeah, all we can do right now, well, not all we can do, but what we want to do is go into the base for shits and giggles, I guess. And maybe we get to capture the base before we get to 3500 points. So that's the plan. I'm rushing there as quickly as possible. Pardonom is yelling at me, why there's no cavalry on top of this gentleman? Like, yo dude, calm down. I'm there, okay? I'm going there as fast as I can. I'm not that fast, but I'll get there and I'll get rid of those javelins. And even though I, again, do not get a clear charge, this guy dodges pretty well, I can still just be on top of him and not allow him to shoot, which in turn allows my infantry to do their job and I guess don't be disrupted by the devastating fire of enemy javelins. And again, being Scipio comes into play, just popping off. Well, I have only 1 off, the other 2 are still on cooldown. This is quite a long cooldown, which I cannot check, but you can calculate. It's more or less 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. I really don't play Scipio that much to to know that number, but it's like 1/4 right now with 80 seconds, so 80 times 4 for 320. So well, that's 5 minutes. Whoa, that's a long cooldown. Unless I'm mistaken and I suck at math. Remember, kids, never math and stream, or in this case, record a YouTube video. So that's another very important lesson. Don't do math when you're recording, or you might be terribly, terribly wrong and then be embarrassed in front of everybody. But I'm quite confident I got that right. So yeah, map control in Total War Arena is very important now in the new game mode. It's not only all about the kills, so even if you are not the highest tier in the matchmaking, that allows you, if you're smart enough, to notice those, you know, situations like, oh, C is getting captured, I need to defend it. Oh, I can sneak capture this point, deny them the healing zone, and get a healing zone for ourselves. Or just stall the enemy, sacrifice myself so that higher tiers of my team can, you know, do their job in killing. Or, you know, oh, my allies are capturing a zone, but there are reinforcements coming, let me stop those reinforcements so that we can complete the capture. All those many ways in which you can contribute to your team. Not only by killing the enemies. Controlling the map is as important, if not even more important, because that is what ultimately wins you the game, getting to those 3500 points. So yeah, that's the lesson for now. And I'll see you in on Arena's battlefields, because the music just ended and it will be perfect to end on like that high note and I talked too long. So yes, friendly fire that subscribe button. You can watch this very battle as well as it took place live, and all of those, you know, dilemmas we had, like, yo, do I capture the base, or not base, the capture point, or do I help my allies? What to do first? Or do we go for the enemy base, or do we fight here and try to kill them and establish our control, you know, or just establish it, like reinforce it, make sure that it's still there instead of YOLOing to the base. So yeah, that will be in the top right corner on the end screen, so I'm not talking about it towards the end. Yeah, help us bring Total Arena back to the west by checking the links in the description and doing all that stuff that you can do below the video. So, with that, I'll now definitely see you on Arena's battlefields, Commanders.